He's like, hey, baby, I blew my load on the first 8 bars. Hey, baby, I gave you loopitis. It's terminal. Hey, baby, I use Ableton. We should watch, let's watch Underbelly. It's a classic. Class act and a classic.
Let's say you're working on a sick house banger, but your kick just isn't hitting right. Try to add a little bit of processing. Why not? You put a compressor on there, maybe a glue compressor. I don't know, maybe some couple
Dude, whoa, what the fuck? What skin is that?
EQs, channel EQ, EQ8, maybe do a little, you know, a little something like that, or, you know, threshold.
Holy shit, that glue compressor.
There we go, and then you do more of this, and then you, like, I don't know, maybe you need to change, so...
I want to hear the sound. I need to hear the sound. Yeah, I was going to say that those HS8 Yamaha monitors, like 3 inches from his face, they seem a little too big.
Okay, so check it. The first producing habit I had to unlearn is avoiding clipping at any costs. Clipping or going into the red basically means going above 0 dB on any track. Now, I'm not saying you gotta clip...
What if you're in a rush, okay? What if you're in a rush?
Derek's piano recital. But if you're trying to make some stupid, ignorant music like this... Oh, shit! Clipping ain't actually so bad. So what's actually going on when we clip? Well, let me demonstrate first with a really basic sound. Sine wave sounds like this, and let's actually look at it with the, oscilloscope here.
Let me guess, it turns into a square.
So we've got our trusty, beautiful round sine wave, and what I'm gonna do...
Bro, the thing is with HS8s, like with 8-inch monitors like that, they should be further away, like technically. They should be further away because that's the whole point of having bigger monitors.
Is I'm gonna run it through a saturator on...
Like they're for a bigger room. I know, controversial take here.
On the digital clip setting. This basically simulates what's going on when you clip or going into the red on any track in Ableton. So watch this. I'm gonna crank the drive on the saturator.
It becomes a square. Wow.
A beautiful soft round sine turns it into an ugly angular square wave. It's essentially chopping off the tops and bottoms of the waveform, turning that sine wave into a square. And what that's doing is it's making the sound super bright, beautiful, and buzzy by adding a bunch of harmonics to it. So we can actually take a look at that with the spectrum. If I put the drive back down,
near field doesn't mean 2 inch from your ears.
We just got that one single fundamental. As soon as I crank the drive, we're getting all sorts of crazy harmonics over the top.
They look like 7s. All right, whatever. We got the monitor inspector here.
But I would argue an even more powerful side effect is how it reduces peaks of a sound. So check it out. I have this stupid drum loop, sounds kind of like this. Now let me turn the saturator on and off. See how much the green volume bars jump up with it off. We're almost at the tippy top there. And then back on. Now check it out. It's totally squashed the peaks, the loudest parts of the...
I'm learning a lot right now.
Drum loop. So it's essentially...
Are subs necessary if you have 5s? What do you mean subs? Like a subwoofer? I mean, if you want to hear bass, yeah. I mean, I would say it's somewhat... Define necessary. I don't know. This is a really complex discussion for a really simple question.
Sort of limiter or compressor by turning down the loud parts of the...
I mean, a sub's always good. Like if you want to hear sub frequencies, you're not going to hear sub frequencies basically with any monitor because it basically just covers the frequencies below what a monitor normally gets.
We're allowed to crank up the volume of the drums overall and get a super loud, in-your-face drum sound. Modern electronic music wants to be ridiculously loud, super in your face, so clipping is actually a great way of getting there. The second bad habit...
The random zoom though.
Is processing the shit out of my drum sounds.
Duplicate this chain, more chains.
You know, instead of maybe putting a ridiculous amount of processing on your kicks, maybe just, I don't know, pick a different kick sample. Try finding a not shit kick.
Oh my God.
Put that in the...
How do you have that ready to go?
Drum rack and get rid of all this hootenanny. And what do you know?
Oh.
It's not shit.
That's fire.
All right, so we know now not to process the shit out of our drum sounds anymore. Let's take it back to that sweet rhythm track I was playing earlier. Now, we already discussed that this track sounds amazing, but here's the sitch. I only have 8 bars of this shit. What the heck am I supposed to do now? Well, that brings me to bad habit number 3, contracting loopitis. Loopitis is
It's terminal, dude. You can't fix it. Loopitis is terminal.
a disease where you just spend all your creative juices on the first 8 bars of your track and you have nowhere to go from there. Now, there's a couple ways you can get out of it. For example, in my You Suck at Drums series, I'm always starting with at least 4 different drum clips at different energy levels. That way, we have 4 different jumping off points to start our song with. You can't put your eggs all in one basket. There's just too many baskets. And finally,
Wait, what?
it's important to understand that with every new song you start,
Hey, I'm gonna blow my load on the first 8 bars if I want to, alright?
there's a honeymoon phase. It's fresh, it's exciting, you're not disgusted by each other's
Dude, this picture right here. Oh my god. That's great.
weird habits yet. That is where most
She's like, hey baby, I blew my load on the first 8 bars. Hey baby, I gave you loopitis. It's terminal. Hey baby, I use Ableton.
of the important work can be done. So don't squander it by putting a ridiculous number of effects on your drums or perfecting the mix and master on your first 10 seconds of your track. Use that time wisely and try to get the broad strokes in first before getting in on the details. Wowzers. Alright, so let's say you finally overcome loopitis. What's next? Well, bad habit number 4 is not using a reference track. A reference track is a song by another artist similar to the style or genre you're
It's a Skrillex song. That's what it is. It's a Skrillex song every time.
going for that you want your track to kind of emulate or sound like. For example, if we go back to my rhythm track right here, I've got a Leotrix track in there called Follow Your Heart. I'll always put a loudness meter on the master. I'm using the Yulin loudness meter here. It's free. And what I'm paying attention to here is the integrated LUFS. That's basically the average loudness of my song versus the reference track. And I kind of want them to match because I want my song to be at the loudness standard of the genre that I'm in. So if we listen back to my track, let's reset this. I'm coming in at around -5-ish. And then if we listen to good old Leo here, all right, pretty much on point. Sometimes I'll turn down the reference track to match the loudness of my song if I am not yet at the mastering stage. Whatever you need to do to make the comparison.
Yeah, sometimes if I just can't get my song loud enough, I turn down the reference track. That way I'm like, you know what? It's the same now. It's the same now. I just had to turn on the reference track. I know that's not what he's saying. I'm just making a joke, okay?
Between the 2 tracks easier. Another thing I like to do is
I'm just saying that's what I do, all right? That's what I do.
the spectrum on the master. I'll usually reset it like this. I'll click on auto here to turn that auto resizing function off, and then I'll use these sliders to zoom in on the low end. That way I can see exactly how much sub is in the reference track and use that information to turn up or down the sub on my song. So it looks like they're
Just use your ears, am I right?
peaking around, I don't know, -4-ish dB. Let's listen back to my track. And I'm a little bit higher, but sort of in the ballpark, so we're chilling there. So you can kind of see how useful reference tracks can be from a mixing perspective, but even more so, they might be useful from an arrangement perspective. What I'm going to do next now is use the locators in the arrangement view to mark the different sections of the song. So just right click here, add locator, intro, move that to the left. Let's go over here. Okay, looks like we're doing the build up there, so we'll add another locator called build up. Build up, build up, build up, build up. Even more build up, so let's just call this build up part 2. And then finally, locator there, fucking sick. And now I have a map to approach the arrangement of my song. If I just follow the blueprint that the Leotrix track gave me.
I mean, while it's a good idea to do that, I feel like, I don't know, it kind of leads to a lot of songs just being the same exact arrangement, though.
It takes a lot of the guesswork out of arranging. All right, so you've arranged out your track, you've completed your mix, you've conquered loopitis, you're finally ready.
Maybe that is what is happening. Okay, so his hair, he's losing the hair in his head, but it's just coming out to his eyebrows instead.
To show off your shit song to your boys and your friend's 2002 Camry. So you ask him to pass the aux, your song comes on, and it sounds terrible. I mean, there's like no bass, bro. Well, bad habit number 5 is trying to make your song sound good on every system, okay? There's just some really terrible speaker systems out there. Speakers that no matter what you do.
I mean, I feel like what he's saying there, it's good. I don't know, it depends. It depends, because I feel like you also do want to make it sound good on as many things as possible, but there are some systems that just sound bad, and you have to like kind of keep that in mind, like listen to other music on it as well and compare it.
It's gonna sound like shit. So instead of trying to make mixing decisions on a bunch of different systems that you barely even know, try to stick to 1 or 2 systems that you know like the back of your hand and really only...
Yeah, I agree with that. I would say like 3 systems though, if you have it. Like for instance, I have 2 monitor setups. I know those pretty well. One has a subwoofer, one does not have a subwoofer. Then I have the monitoring headphones that I use.
Mix or pay attention on those. And even if you are trying to mix on maybe not the best...
Like if you're gonna do like if you're gonna check in your car, check what other songs sound like in your car also, you know, of the same genre.
Headphones, that's okay. As long as you're using reference tracks. If the reference tracks sound terrible, all you have to do is make your tracks sound terrible in the exact same way.
Yeah,
and you are good. So the next time you put on one of your shit songs for the boys in the Camry and it sounds terrible, just know that you can always tell yourself it's probably the car. Wowzers. Thanks for watching. If you like the videos and want to support, feel free to check out my Patreon or join my Discord to gain access to a community of like-minded producers. I'm Underbelly. Have a great day.
The way he pronounces stuff is so bizarre. I wish he would upload more, man. Okay, so wait, let me show you guys my favorite Underbelly video.
Well, according to Uncle Joe, marijuana is a psychoactive plant matter that producers inhale into their lungs to boost creativity. Today, we're going to...
Is he being held hostage? I think so. I think he's being held by Big Marijuana Corp.
So what we're going to do here is we have some plant matter inside the bonge receptacle, and we're going to use fire to inhale and prepare psychoactive experience.
Is this a video like I need to stop smoking that weed? Nah. If anything, this made me want to smoke it more.
It's for beat making, okay? All right, 3, 2, 1. Producing.
Producing.
Didn't tell me that it would taste like Uncle Joe's farts.
Must be some shitty ass weed. That good shit don't taste like farts. That's all I know.
And see how it...
He did actually smoke weed though. I mean, look at his pupils. Looks high as fuck.
Then we're gonna go ahead and create a rhythm. Now let's go ahead and create a clip. You guys remember what clips are? Don't forget. Okay, I can feel it kicking in. So let's just go ahead.
Feel it kicking in.
Drag that in here. Ooh, that was scary.
Ooh.
Give me a minute. Okay. All right. That was.
He blew his load on the first 8 bars.
Okay. That was marijuana on Ableton. And if you're feeling a little overstimulated when you're producing marijuana substances, it's time to, look back on yourself when you were a child and being trapped in Uncle Joe's dungeon lair. I'm Underbelly. Marijuana. Signing off.
At the end there, he should have fucking smoked again. That would have been even funnier, dude. If at the end there he's like, I'm Underbelly, marijuana, signing off. Like, I feel like this video could have been done better, but this is 7 years ago. Like, it's so good. Definitely some inspirational stuff there. Definitely makes you want to smoke some of that devil lettuce.
Bang Incorporated.